one's allowed to talk. Is that it? You can't talk?
No, you intimidate them.
Good God, you're a woman.
Is it better to be feared or respected? And I say, is it too much to ask for both?
It's no surprise Downey became fascinated with film from an early age. His mother was an actress and his father a director who gave him his first acting role at the age of 5. After dropping out of high school, he moved to New York and started treading the boards of Broadway. He also started to pick up some supporting roles in film.
You've said Home for the Holidays is, for me, one of the most relaxed performances in the history of cinema.
Yep.
What was relaxing you?
Black tar heroin.
What?
Do you see how sweet and innocent he is about this stuff?
I'm from Michigan. I'm square.
I'm not saying I wouldn't have had a relaxed performance anyway, but I'm saying that if you came into my trailer when I wasn't working, I might have been constructing a large, 8th scale model of the space shuttle, and I had lots of projects going on in the room.
When you were high on the set.
That was the first time.
How did Jody handle it?
She came and said, nice shuttle. So, I know what's going on, and I think you know that I know what's going on. I'm not worried about you on this film because it's kind of like safe and it's a great part. She goes, I'm worried about what will happen if you think you can do this again. And I was like, oh, you're so, and whatever. Oh, you're so right. Thank you. Love you. Love you. I'm making tuna melts. Do you want a tuna melt? Just like completely oblivious to what she was indicating.
Is it true that Sean Penn whisked you off once on a...
Whisked me off. I wish it was that pleasant, yes.
Whisked you off on a private jet to get you into rehab, and then you ran away?
Well, that's the after fact. What he did was he kicked my door down, and that was another thing. I'm like Jodie Foster, and then the next minute is like the door flies off the hinges, and there's Sean Penn in that leather jacket like, it's time to pay the piper.
But you were so out of it then, too, right?
Well, I was not out of it enough to try to put up a fight, and I think there was a bit of a struggle on the stairway, which he probably won.
In this incident with Sean, did it not, he sent you, or had you taken someplace, and then you broke out?
Well, sure I did.
Okay. Of the place. You didn't stay.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
I'm just doing my job, Oprah.
Because you didn't want to go.
No, I didn't want to go. Well, I didn't mind going because it was a nice plane. I just didn't want to stay.
You didn't want to stay?
No, and when I got there, Steve Baldwin was there, and he told me to sit in the back of the car and stay, put my hands where he could see him. Yeah, a lot of people went to great lengths to...
Do you remember the craziest... You must have had some crazy times.
Uh-huh.
But do you remember driving around naked in a Porsche?
Absolutely, it was a blast.
It's opened my eyes to a lot. I think first it was just kind of a shock because I don't know why, but for some reason I had expected that I was going to somewhere that was like the treatment center next to the prison. When I got here, it was like it was a prison yard, and came here and I was like, wow. You see razor wire fences, you see a lot of correctional officers, some armed, some not, all of whose job basically is to protect society from you.
Following yet another drug-fueled binge in 2003, Downey Jr. realised it was time to change and sobered up. His good friend Mel Gibson helped him relaunch his film career with the lead role in The Singing Detective.
Actually, I asked Mel to present this award to me for a reason, because when I couldn't get sober, he told me not to give up hope, and he urged me to find my faith. Didn't have to be his or anyone else's as long as it was rooted in forgiveness. And I couldn't get hired, so he cast me in the lead of a movie that was actually developed for him, and he kept a roof over my head, and he kept food on the table. And most importantly, he said that if I accepted responsibility for my wrongdoings, and if I embraced that part of my soul that was ugly, hugging the cactus, he calls it, he said that if I hugged the cactus long enough, I'd become a man of some humility, and that my life would take on a new meaning. And I did, and it worked. All he asked in return was that someday I help the next guy in some small way. It's reasonable to assume that at the time he didn't imagine the next guy would be him.
Navigated my way, sometimes poorly, sometimes aptly, through a young adulthood, and now here I am in my early 40s, and and I've become responsible enough to kind of own whatever authority I'm allowed.
What's humbling is to have to live your life for some reason that is yet to be explained to me by God in such a public way, when so much of it is so humiliating and embarrassing. So by the time I got into prison, it wasn't like, wow, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. You know, it was an extension of things being miserable. So
that's a good point. And so by the time you're in prison, that's not rock bottom for you?
nope.
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 What is?
You know, I just happened to be in a situation the very last time, and I said, you know what, I don't think I can continue doing this. And I reached out for help, and I ran with it, you know, because you can reach out for help in kind of a half-assed way, and you'll get it, and you won't take advantage of it, you know. It's really, it's not that difficult to overcome these seemingly ghastly problems. You just have
You
to
are
put
saying
your mind
that
to
it's
it.
not that difficult?
No. What's hard is to decide.
Like, do I know what it's like to try to manage more than is easy to?
His partying ways may be behind him, but he's not about to get on his high horse and judge some of today's younger stars who may be headed down the same destructive path that he travelled on.
I can't have any judgment on anyone else. I just relate to and understand what it's like to lose your way and then find it again. And ultimately you find it by getting with the right people.
What's going on here?
Let's face it, this is not the worst thing you've caught me doing.